What is going on? It is your podcast host, Nate Leary of The Talking Block, and you are back with another podcast episode with me. I thank you for taking the time to join in and just chat with me. Not been gone, been on Spotify, a podcast where you get your audio podcast from. So go check those most recent episodes out. And now that we're back, we're better. As you can see, I got a microphone stand, so it's a lot easier to use my hands. I will tell you that I'm looking down at the soundboard right now to make sure that it is picking me up, because it was a little frustrating setup. Only because, I can't do a lot yet. Still learning how this thing works in the sense of where I get my good sound lengthwise, where I get my good sound height-wise, and just making sure that you guys are able to hear me clearly and concisely. So yeah, but moving on, do want to tell you guys that we are back on YouTube, as you see. And what better way to be back on YouTube than just to be here? Starting off with poem of the day. I don't have an author, but I do have a title, and the title is You out there. If every single person who has liked you in your lifetime were to light up on a map, it would create the most glittery, beautiful. Hold on, little technical difficulty. Kind of click the image there. Let's start that over. Poem of the day. Title is You. If every single person who liked you in your lifetime were to light up on a map, it would create the most glittery, beautiful network you could imagine. Throw the strangers you've been kind to, the people you've made laugh or inspired along the way, and that star-bright web of you would be an impressive sight to behold. You're so much more than you think you are. You have done so much more than you realize. You're trailing a bright pathway that you don't even know about. What a thing indeed. Of course, poem of the day is meant to get those brain juices flowing, to make you think, to be outside of your comfort box wherever you are, whether that be at school, whether it be at home, on your couch, whether you be at work, driving to work, whether you be in the car on a road trip. It does not matter. It's meant to make you think. In today's poem of the day, I think that all it means is, honestly, I thought this was a romantic poem at first, because the first line is, if every single person you've liked in your lifetime were to light up on a map. I'm thinking, okay, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about this and that, so what does it mean? But no, it just means everybody that you're genuine to. And I think that it's a very, very, very true thing, that everybody you're genuine to, it doesn't matter who it is, from holding the door to saying hi to somebody in the morning, to waving to somebody, giving somebody a smile as you walk by them. That's all that matters. Just depending on how genuine you are is what makes your map light up. So how glittery do you think your map is? Because I know that mine is pretty glittery. Not to say that I don't have my rudeness, I don't have my disgusting intentions at times, but that's never to say that that's who I want to be. It's just, at sometimes I keep my guard up a little too high, and that prohibits me from being my most genuine self. And that is one thing that I think we should all, take into consideration, is that, at times we might have our guard up a little too high, and we might not be as genuine as we want to be to certain people, to some people, to most people. And, our map might not be as glittery as we think it is. But that is poem of the day, and the title is You. On to the fun things in the topic. Let's talk about ESPN on the Talking Block. Like I said, if you have listened to my recent podcast, those are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, wherever you get your audio podcast from, you would know that we talked about wild card last week. This week, we're talking about divisional round. And starting off with the Texans and the Chiefs, a very, very controversial game. Many people believe that the Chiefs were the refs were in favor of the Chiefs. A lot of outrageous calls were made, such as this play right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we get a unnecessary roughness from that. We both see that they were in a good, nice forward momentum and collided into each other at that, and just a little touch to Patrick Mahomes, but yet it was still called a unnecessary roughness. It is what it is at this point. Chiefs will be moving on, but I will tell you that I still stand by this. I think that Patrick Mahomes has been playing mediocre. They beat the Texans 23-14. They had a nice, honestly, they had a nice chance of coming back if they really wanted to, and they tried to, but it wasn't in favor of the Chiefs. So yeah, but the Chiefs will head on to conference championships against the Bills, which beat the Ravens last Sunday 27-25. Very close game. Lamar Jackson, Andrew snap. Mark Andrews had a very close game-winning catch, tying game-winning catch. That would have sent them into overtime, but Mark Andrews dropped it in the end zone, most likely because of the ice. It looked like it was because of the ice, but who knows? Of course, the Ravens fans were not happy. Many people said that Lamar does this every year, gets the hopes up, gets them to the playoffs, and then sells the bag. And then there was those couple fans that just said they were never Mark Andrews fans, never really liked him, never this, that, such, and the other. But all I have to say is, I've been telling you guys from the beginning, Josh Allen has looked good since day one, and there was no way that they were going to beat Josh Allen the way that he's looked. Sorry, yes, they might have lost against a couple teams, 2 teams to be exact, maybe 3 to be exact. Yeah, 3 teams, but that didn't matter. Josh Allen still looked good even when he was losing. So hey, that is what it is. Chiefs and the Bills will go head to head this Sunday at 3 p.m. No, I lied. 6:30 p.m. And we will see who will be taking it to the Super Bowl. And all honesty, I think that Josh Allen has it in the bag this year. We know that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen meet in the playoffs, AFC Championship to be exact, almost every single year. And Patrick Mahomes comes with the win. But I think this year, Josh Allen has got it in the bag. For real. I mean, I don't know what to tell you besides that. And I'm rooting for Josh Allen. Hopefully he gets MVP, and hopefully he comes out. I won't say that part, because there is a little caveat to that. But as for the Rams and the Eagles that played in the divisional round Sunday, January 19th, Eagles came up with the win. Rams came out strong. That's my team. They came out strong. They came out hard. They came out fast. I really liked the way that they were looking. It was just minor slip-ups, the ice, the fumbles by Kyron Williams, the turnovers that were just kind of a little unnecessary, and then the simple plays as of offsides on the offensive side, or the defensive penalties that just gave the Eagles what they needed, those inches that they needed to make touchdowns that they made. It was just and although they almost did come back, they were real close. They had it in the end zone, they just couldn't make it, and that's all right. But Eagles did come out with a win, 28-22. They will be going against the Commanders, who beat the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Lions. And I will tell you, I have a very, very, very strong faith in Jaden Daniels after watching. Granted, I did have the Lions winning that game, but it is what it is. For the fact that Jaden Daniels had no turnovers and the Lions had about 5 or 6, says a lot. Mind you, going against the Rams, the Eagles still had a couple sacks Rams still had a couple sacks on Jalen Hurts. Still had a couple of turnovers. Still had a couple of defensive penalties. I think maybe 1 or 2 offensive penalties. So yeah. Hey, I think that the Commanders could come out with the win. Going to this, I think they can go to the Super Bowl. Win the Super Bowl would be a different story, but come out and go to the Super Bowl, I think they got it. And I've been sticking by this. Jaden Daniels is Rookie of the Year. I will say this till my heart falls out. Jaden Daniels is Rookie of the Year. Commanders and Eagles will be playing Sunday at 3 p.m. And like I said, I have the Commanders coming out on the winning that game. I doubted them before, henceforth why they beat the Lions, the number 1 seed, but I will not doubt them again. And I think that the Commanders can come out to win. But we'll see. As for that's all we got on the ESPN on the Talking Block. It's going to get shorter because the football season is coming to an end. Of course, we have Pro Bowl, I think, after the conference championship, and then the Super Bowl, which is February 9th, and it will start at 6:30. We'll also talk about Kendrick Lamar and his halftime show coming that time. But otherwise than that, that's all I got this time. And on to news. What's going on in the community? What's going on in the world? What is going on in your neck of the woods? For what we got on the news, TikTok is back. But let's be clear, it is not because of the 47th president. And just for you guys to know, we do have a new president, because we all know that one friend, that one person that will be like, dang, we got a new president. I thought Barack Obama was still president. And you look at him like, are you serious right now? Where have you been living? Under a rock? We do have a new president, and his name is Donald J. Trump. We also have a new vice president, which his name is Jaden Vance. But that is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about the TikTok ban, even though it involves politics. What does Trump executive order mean for TikTok? Who might buy it? If you did not know, if you don't have TikTok, or you just have not been on TikTok in a while, you would know that TikTok was getting shut down because of there being security issues between the Chinese and Americans, not Americans, U.S. Government believing that China was stealing information from U.S. citizens. And although the TikTok CEO is not Chinese, he has told the senators plenty of times. He said, "Senator, I'm not Chinese, I'm Singaporean." And well, what did the senator say? Well, why do you think Chinese this? Why do you think Chinese that? Why do you think Chinese this? It was just outrageous. But nevertheless, the Americans think that Chinese are after them. And even not to say that they didn't understand that all TikTok is removing the Red Dance, another Chinese app. So it's a lot of chaoticness right now. But on BBC News, it says U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order granting TikTok a 75-day extension to comply with the law banning the app if not sold. The social media platform briefly went dark in the U.S. days before Trump took office, after the Supreme Court denied a bid by its Chinese owner ByteDance to overturn the legislation. TikTok came back online with a short message thanking Trump for his efforts. Like I said, many TikTokers, many social media platform influencers are saying not to thank this man because he is the initial one that said to take it away. Well, that makes sense. Can't be Indian givers around here. Sorry, Donald Trump. Has Trump overturned the TikTok ban? This is what everybody needs to know, because this is what is going to affect us as TikTok users. An executive order is an instruction for the president, which has the weight of a law behind it. But Trump's order does not overturn the ban. Instead, it tells the U.S. Attorney General not to enforce the law for now. Something experts had expected would be the first move. That buys time for the administration to, as the order puts it, determine the appropriate course of action. Trump has floated the possibility of TikTok becoming a joint venture, telling reporters he was seeking a 50-50 partnership between the United States and ByteDance, though he did not give any further details on how that might work. For now, though, the order creates a situation where the president is directly opposing a ruling by the Supreme Court, which upheld the law to ban TikTok on January 17th. It said the ban was designed to prevent China, a designated foreign adversary, from leveraging its control over ByteDance to capture the personal data of U.S. TikTok users. Basically, to sum that down, Donald Trump has not got rid of the ban. If the U.S. cannot find a partner to buy ByteDance, TikTok will go bye-bye for good. It just gave the U.S. some time to kind of clear out their security system, make sure that Chinese government was not stealing U.S. TikTok users' information. That's all that's saying. So, is there a possibility TikTok could be shut down forever, going up bye-bye with Vine, Musical.ly, and all of them? Yes, there is still a possibility, but it is being put on hold because of our so-called hero, Donald Trump, and what his efforts to do to try and make it legal again, possibly trying to buy it and get income. So basically what it sounds like is he's just being the monopolist that he is and trying to gain more money, which is not surprising why we have so many billionaires and CEOs all up in the government this year. But hey, that's none of my business. I'm not a politician. I don't speak politics. I just speak about what I see. Okay? All right. But yeah, that's what's going on with TikTok, and that's all I've got. As for Black news, let's talk about what's going on in the Black community. Although that it is a little late in time for me to be talking about this, I still find it interesting because Black History Month is coming up. Florida students are giving up Saturdays to learn Black history lessons their schools don't teach. Tallahassee, Florida, buried among Florida's manicured golf courses and sprawling suburbs, are the artifacts of slave-holding past, the long-last cemeteries of enslaved people, the statues of Confederate soldiers that still stand watch over town squares, the old plantations turned into modern subdivisions that bear the same name. But many students aren't learning aren't learning that kind of Black history in Florida classrooms. In an old wooden bungalow in Delray Beach, Charlene Farrington and her staff gather groups of teenagers on Saturday mornings to teach them lessons she worries that public school won't provide. They talk about the South Florida's Caribbean roots, the state's dark history of lynchings, how segregation still shapes the landscape, and how grassroots activists mobilize the civil rights movement to upend generations of oppression. You need to know how it happened before so you can decide how you want it to happen again, she told her students as they sat at their desks, the morning light illuminating historic photographs on the walls. Florida students are giving up their Saturday mornings to learn about African American history at the Spady Cultural Heritage Museum in Delray Beach and in similar programs at community centers across the state. Many are supported by Black churches, which for generations have helped forge the cultural and political identity of their parishioners. Kudos to the Florida students out there in Delray Beach learning about the history, and I think it is very important because they are absolutely right. Schools do not teach all that it is to be taught about Black history. Of course, we know about Martin Luther King Jr., a little bit about Malcolm X. We somewhat hear about W.E. Du Bois and George Washington Carver. Of course, we hear all about them. But, there's a little that we hear about, like even Madison C.J. Walker. I still think that she's a very underrated Black female, making the first female Black hair products and a first Black female millionaire. I bet some of you didn't know that. So there's things like that we don't know, and it's on for them for going out and wanting to learn. I best believe we will be talking about a lot of Black history, and we're not talking about the basics. We're not talking about Rosa Parks. We're not talking about Martin Luther King Jr. We're not talking about Malcolm X. We're not talking about Frederick Douglass. We're talking about all the underground people, not even Harriet Tubman. That's not what I mean. I mean like those that died and we still don't even know their names type of Black history. Let's learn about them. Let's talk about them all next month. So be prepared for that. But otherwise than that, that's all I've got. From Poem of the Day to Topic of the Day, ESPN on the Talking Block, to news to Black news. I thank you for taking the time to listen to another podcast episode of the Talking Block with your podcast host, Nate Larry A. TTB, toast to becoming. If I can change one mind, that mind will change another. Become a chain of changed minds. I said that wrong. If I can change one mind, that mind will change another. Those minds change so many more. Become a chain of changed minds. I thank you for taking time, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.